right, and welcome back to the Hoppy Huddle podcast. So there was a big event that happened yesterday. The College Football National Championship occurred. Pretty cool.
Important event, yes.
The most important event that occurred yesterday, for sure. Ohio State played Notre Dame. The expected happened. There was a little shenanigans that going on. Ryan Day justified his continuance as a head coach to the Ohio State fans, to everybody else who's like, that guy's a really good head coach. What are we doing? It's like pretty obvious. He got his first national championship. Pretty clear that you say first because you can definitely see more in the long-term future of Ohio State. Will Howard played pretty well. Just kind of an overall good showing by Ohio State. Notre Dame played hard and they played well, and they had some opportunities, but they couldn't keep up with the raw talent that Ohio State has.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, it wasn't a bad game. I mean, we got some excitement right out of the gate with an 18-play, 9-minute and 45-second drive. I know it took up the entire first quarter. I mean, basically it felt like it. And I don't know who was more nervous, Ohio State or the TV executives, because all their commercial windows were shut down.
Yeah, seriously.
But Notre Dame came out and they did, the game plan was, hey, if you could limit Ohio State's possessions, if you could run the ball, keep it away, that's how Notre Dame's going to win. The problem with that, it was a scripted drive, and they ran. Why am I drawing a blank on the quarterback's name? One day away, and I'm already forgetting his name. Irish is
Riley Leonard.
I want to say Lincoln Riley. Riley Leonard. They ran him 9 times, and when they cut away to him later, he looked exhausted.
I mean, fair. Completely understandable.
I know, but they got out to a lead. I mean, you're like, hey, maybe this is going to be interesting. And then Ohio State just marches right down the field and answers. And then you get the point, okay, Notre Dame, you got to go with it. And they just couldn't match them in the first half. They really, they didn't. When was the first time he threw an incomplete pass in Ohio State? When did they have an incomplete pass? Was it late in the first half and the 2-minute drive?
Yeah, it was definitely later in the first half. I don't remember the specific first time they had an incomplete pass, but
I don't think Will Howard had incomplete until late in that 2-minute drive, but I think he completed 12 or 13 passes in a row. I mean, he did. Now, nothing was deep, but they were all 5, 10-yard passes, all on the perimeter, mostly, nothing across the middle significantly, but they just bludgeoned them to death in the first half. It was 21-7.5. And
yeah. I mean, what did we say? You can't let Ohio State get up early.
Yeah, they got up, and then Notre Dame, only at that point, Notre Dame had run, 18-play drive, and then they ran only 7 other plays the entire first half.
Yeah.
They didn't really move the ball at that point. It was pretty clear that Ohio State was going to dominate both sides of the line. I thought what was most interesting is Notre Dame wouldn't get any pressure on them on the offense. Notre Dame's defense was not getting pressure on Ohio State's offense in that first half.
Yeah. I think that whatever offensive line adjustments Ohio State made going into the playoff, it's pretty clear at this point that they figured it out. They got it together. Their O-line has played very well in playoff against, multiple, 4 good defensive fronts, right?
Yeah.
So Notre Dame was injured, of course, but Mills, right, was out. But I think Ohio State just made the correct adjustments. I was really impressed with the play calling from Ohio State. In the second half, they got a little conservative, but honestly, right out of the gate, they owned Notre Dame. They was on defense. They were confused. They didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Chip Kelly, I think that was something that had plagued them earlier in the season with the close game in Nebraska and the loss to Michigan, is that the play calling had been kind of like, what are you doing here? What are we doing here? What little ticky-tack plays. Yeah. But really the whole playoff, but especially in the first half today, Ohio State's play calling was fantastic. They threw it to their receivers. They threw it to their offensive weapons, running backs too.
Yeah.
And they didn't try to do too much. They got the ball to their best players and let them work, and they were better than Notre Dame's defensive players. And
and it carried into the second half. They took the opening kickoff, went right down, and all of a sudden this game's 31-7 midway through the third quarter, and you're thinking it's over.
Yeah, you're thinking it's over. And then Notre Dame finds some life. Honestly, there's a lot of credit to Riley Leonard on he actually threw the ball pretty well in the second half. He didn't do a bunch of incredible Cam Ward type of plays where he's just escaping and making these obscene throws, but he was efficient, and I don't know how to describe it. He was a good thrower of the football in the second half, and he didn't make any dumb mistakes that you would really you kind of expected him to. He did miss a key third down throw to Faison or the running back. I can't remember, but it was a key third down throw, and it set up the fourth down where they for some reason brought in a field goal unit to do it, or a punt unit to do a fake punt, and then nobody bought it. Which honestly they almost had if the receiver didn't drop the ball. But that's beside the point. Why are you going for punt there? There's
nobody bought
some questionable choices from Marcus Freeman there on kind of play calling and situational football. I understand why they went for the field goal. I get it, because it's extremely low that you'll get back into the game anyway. And if you are going to try and get back into the game, you don't want to play for overtime. So I kind of get the math that he was doing there. But it's just not – it doesn't look good when you don't end up coming close to that. And especially when you miss the field goal, especially then. But, so I'm not entirely mad at that specifically. I think
it's not the reason.
Just some play calls kind of didn't make a ton of sense. But Ohio State really wasn't letting them run the ball. And so you kind of had to get outside of your normal comfort zone. And when that happens to a team, sometimes you're not as comfortable with that side of the play sheet and making those right calls. So it is what it is. I think Notre Dame was still a really good team this year. I still think they were probably the second best team in the country. I know you can make an argument for Oregon, but
Oregon was the national championship game was decided in the Rose Bowl. I will continue to die on that hill.
Maybe, but it's not like Notre Dame's win over Georgia wasn't very impressive. So it's
one game all year. It was to Ohio State. And they had to beat Ohio State once during the year.
Who looked better against Ohio State? Notre Dame.
Oregon looked pretty good when they beat them.
It's a different. You and I both don't give me that. It's a different Ohio State team. That Ohio State team lost to Michigan. Playoff Ohio State. Who looked better? Notre Dame looked much better.
Saying Oregon beat Ohio State. Notre Dame.
Yeah, and then they got absolutely cooked. Anyway, but this is off topic here, but you just got to feel happy for Ryan Day. He finally got the monkey off the back. You got that national championship. People can shut up about calling for your job now. Now you just lock in. You can focus. The Michigan win will come. It will get there eventually. Just kind of refocus, reload for next year. Especially a lot of these seniors who came back and forego the NFL draft to come back for this. Jack Sawyer, J.T. Tuimoloau along the defensive line. This has got to be extremely cathartic for them because they didn't beat Michigan. They won the national title, and that's a huge accomplishment. And that's 2 years in a row now. Big Ten has won the national title. Come on, SEC, where you at?
Yeah, well,
what's up?
Yeah, hats off to Ryan Day. They were the best team. They were my preseason pick. They were the most talented team in college football.
I don't even remember who I picked
before the season. They stumbled a little bit at times during the year, but this is what we expected of them. So it's not a shock that they're the one, the confetti's raining down upon them. I think the bigger shock for me was just that Notre Dame made it to the championship game. I think hats off to me or to Marcus Freeman. I did not think this team was as talented at the beginning of the year. They proved me wrong. They are physically tough. Their offensive line is much better than I thought. And I think they're set up well for success next year. I think as you look forward to next year, Notre Dame's going to have to solve the quarterback issue, whether it's going to be Angeli or C.J. Carr. C.J. Carr is the son of Lloyd Carr, former Michigan coach. There's a lot of rumblings from there that maybe he's showing a lot of promise. I don't think it's Angeli's job just by default.
Yeah,
so that'll be an interesting quarterback battle.
They're not going to go portal again.
No,
I'm 100% sure of that. Yeah,
or Carr. I don't think there's really anybody left in the portal.
No,
of worth their salt. But I think Marcus Freeman has done a pretty good job recruiting, and I think he's built this team. My guess is, and given their unique structure with not being in a conference, I think they're going to be right back in the playoff next year, probably 10-2, 11-1, and be a playoff team again, and probably host a playoff game in the first round. Would be my guess. So they'll be right back in this mix next year. They don't lose enough, in my opinion, to really knock them. I mean, I know they lose.
Yeah.
They lose Leonard.
A lot of those guys on defense are coming. The young guys on defense.
They lose the cornerback Morrison. I know they lose Kaiser. They're losing a few people. But
they are, but they have a lot more. I think they're more talented on defense than on offense, especially.
They're adding that wide receiver Malachi Fields from Virginia. I mean, he's an upgrade over anything they got on the wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I think I fully expect Notre Dame, and we'll get to our way too early top 25 in a few minutes. I expect Notre Dame to be back. Ohio State, I'm never gonna feel sorry for them. They lose a ton. They lose Henderson, Judkins, Howard. They're gonna lose Sawyer, JT. They're gonna lose Ransom. They're losing Burke. I mean, they lose a boot.
Yeah, you know who they don't lose? You know who they don't lose for 2 more years? The best player in college football, Jeremiah Smith.
And they don't lose Caleb Downs for another year, and they don't lose
the second best player, the best defensive player, and the best offensive player are both coming back.
Okay, and they've got a 5-star Julian Sand, who's everybody's drooling over, who will be the second-year sophomore to step up. So I think they will be okay next year. I think Sand will probably just step right in. They'll probably have a pretty cakewalk September, and he'll be good to go come October. So I think both these teams will be playoff teams again next year. Would be my guess.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
Yeah. So all in all, overall, I mean, the championship game was not as good as I think the semifinals. I thought the semifinal games were better.
Those were classics.
Was over. I think Ohio State let off the gas, allowed Notre Dame to get back into it. But hey, you're not always going to get a lot of these games have been blowouts in the championship. So this wasn't a terrible game. And Notre Dame still hasn't won a title since I was in high school. So I feel makes me feel good.
I know you're happy about that.
Yeah. And Lou Holtz could go back to wherever he was under whatever rock he crawled out from under. Hey, is LeBron, let's talk about the game itself for a little bit. LeBron was there. I mean, is LeBron the biggest?
Of course he was.
Forever? Does he just root for the Cowboys and the Ohio State and whoever? I mean, come on. I know he's from Ohio, but he just seems like a front runner. He's like Drake.
That's true. Drake does the same thing. Yeah, the LeBron shots were funny, but I don't know.
And they got Captain Marvel in there. They got to show the movie. And what about the best thing was that national anthem? I don't know who that Coco person is. I don't know who she is. I mean, I don't follow music, and I almost sound like an old guy. She was awesome. Did you know who it was? You ever heard of her?
No, I mean, I don't follow music either.
Okay. I know Coco Gauff's the tennis player. I don't know who this Coco person is. Whatever. She was outstanding.
Yeah, she was really good.
Way too many commercials. Oh my gosh, way too many commercials. That's my biggest pet peeve. I mean, there was every 5 seconds there was a commercial.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. Like, come on, guys, what are we doing here?
And they're not even good commercials, and they're not even funny, and they're the same. I mean, if I have to see an All-State commercial again, if I have to see playoff UARI, I can go down the list. We can go through all of them. I mean, football's got to do better than this. I mean, I know you got to make money, but you got to do better. This just tears away from the game. It turns into a 4-hour commercial is what it turns into.
Yeah, it gets pretty ridiculous, but I mean that's
pretty good. I mean, playoffs were fine. I mean, I thought it was an overall good thing. I mean, you can talk about the blowouts, but we had blowouts in the NFL first round as well. So I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm not as upset really about the blowouts. I just think we have gotten a champion this year that would not be national champion in previous years of college football, and it has devalued the regular season, in my opinion, because that Oregon upset means nothing. And I don't know. I'm not as much of a fan of it in BCS.
Have a whole episode on the playoffs later.
And in 14 playoff, Ohio State would not have been in because of their 2 regular season losses, which mattered. And in this case, they were able to slide in. And, it's a Cinderella. It's an 8 seed. It's the most talented team that slipped up 2 times and isn't punished.
Ohio State was the most deserving champion. They beat 6 out of the 12 playoff teams. You take them out of the 11 other playoff teams, they beat 6 of them.
And they lost twice in the regular season.
Doesn't matter. I mean, teams are going to lose.
I'm not arguing for Ohio State is not the national champion. They are the national champion, like, clearly. I just think it's something to note that they would not have been national champions in any other year of college football. And our criteria has changed. No, it's just our criteria has changed. We have de-emphasized the regular season in favor of the postseason. And that's what we're at now. But that is the truth. Like that Michigan loss.
We have cell phones and
that Michigan loss should have disqualified them in any other year.
Why am I the old guy and you sound like get off my lawn?
All right.
Now, so let's jump ahead because that's what we ought to do in January. Is we need to talk about 2025 already.
Yes, because the college football playoff national championship just happened, and so because of that, you know what that means? We've got to do the thing that every person in media does, because I guess we're media now. It's time for way too early top 25, and
we got to start first. That we know the portal is not done this time period. We're going to portal. I mean, so these things could
camp starters can change in camp, like so top 25. Me too. And I mean, after about like I think probably 10, it's like pretty semantics, like kind of whatever you want. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see. All right, let's start out.
How do you want to do? Do you want to build up to do you want to start from the bottom and work to your top 10, or do you want to?
No, I think we got to start at the top. You got to give the people what they want.
Oh, see, I was going to work at the bottom, like build up, and then let's cut to commercial while we no.
Oh, we don't have commercials.
We can't.
If you want to sponsor us, we'll take your money.
Absolutely. All right, you go first.
NordVPN, hit us up.
That's right. NordVPN sponsors everybody. All right.
Yeah.
You go first, and then I'll pick you apart, and then I'll let you go.
All right. I'm gonna do 1 through 5. We can just do it in five team chunks, I think, or 10. Number 1, I got Texas, and I feel like this is gonna be not that controversial of a take. They're extremely talented. They've got a lot of skill players coming in. They've recruited well along the lines of scrimmage. They've built up depth. They have Arch Manning is replacing Quinn Ewers, and we all think he's pretty good. The general consensus is that Arch Manning is a pretty solid quarterback. They've got receivers. They've got running backs. They've got people along both lines of scrimmage. Sark, say what you will about his play calling, he seems to have figured out how to win games in the SEC. Texas is my number 1 team.
So I assume that's who you're saying is going to win the national championship?
Oh, I'm not predicting that. I'm just talking about like the top 25 poll. Like I have no idea who's going to win the national championship. Ohio State Ohio State finished at 8 and they win the national championship. I don't do playoff and national title predictions.
The team I'm predicting to win the national championship.
Okay, but I'm not doing that as a prediction. Like this is just the top 25, like a poll. Okay. Like this, I throw this out after week 1.
You know who
because the games matter.
You know where they open up the season at next year.
Isn't it Michigan?
No, or Ohio State the first weekend.
Right. Yeah. So that'll determine your number 1 team.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so you want my number 1?
Sorry. I'm go down the list. 2, I got Oregon. 3, Ohio State. 4, Notre Dame, and 5, Georgia.
Okay, we're close.
All right. Let me hear yours. What are yours?
I have, and I believe this team will win the national championship next year. And
okay.
As painful as it means for me to say this, I hate saying this. But the Big Ten will win 3 in a row next year. And it will be the Penn State Nittany Lions will be your national champions.
Really?
Yes. Allen, Singleton coming back. They are loading up, just like this Ohio State team did. They're going all in. They've got Devontae Ross coming in from Troy. They've got Kyron Hudson coming in. These are the wide receivers coming in. They're all coming in. They will win the national championship. We'll have Big Ten 3 in a row, a 3-peat for the Big Ten. It's their turn. It's James Franklin's turn to get the monkey off his back.
All right. James Franklin still doesn't beat teams that are more talented than him. So
lock it. You lock it down right now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, buddy. That. All right. Who you got next?
All right. So I got Penn State. I got Texas at 2.
Okay.
I think they're pretty good. I do think they've had. I think it's a lot. Obviously, a lot don't depend on Arch Manning. I think they've had a few more. I probably would have had them number 1 a week or 2 ago, but I think they've had a few losses. They continue to keep losing players to the draft. So Ohio State at 3. They don't have off years. They just reload. Let's see. Oh, did I number this wrong? Daggone, I got Texas in there twice now. What did I screw something up? Dang, I guess my numbering's mixed up. Okay, I've got Georgia at 4 and Notre Dame at 5.
Okay, so we got pretty similar there.
Yeah, and Georgia's basically, I mean, they just because they recruit so well.
Same with my thoughts on Oregon. Their quarterback situation. If it's not Dante Moore, I'm sure like they'll figure it out. I think Dante Moore has had time to grow in their system, and if they really weren't confident in him, they would go out in the portal and would have bid on one of the bigger guys.
Now my 6 through 10, I had Oregon at 6, a little bit further down.
Okay, I had the Penn State at 6. So
we basically got the same top 6, just a little bit different order.
Yeah.
7, Clemson.
Clemson, yes, I have Clemson at 7 also, and this is because of all of the people that they're bringing back. Cade Klubnik is back. He really has turned into a fantastic quarterback last season. I think that's an underrated storyline. He's become really good once he's gotten some decent receivers. All of their receivers are back. Their multiple 5-star freshman receivers are back. Moore and Wesco, and I think Antonio Williams is also back, isn't he?
Williams is back. And then you got the linebackers Brown and Wood is back. Parker's back. Woods is back on the line.
Peter Woods is
And
Clemson is
3 players from the portal. They got the guy from Alexander from Alabama,
former 5-star linebacker.
Yeah, so I think Clemson's going to be We're not going to be talking about them just sneaking into the playoffs. I think they're going to be a top 10.
And I really struggled with these Clemson and this next team. I flip-flopped them several times, and I think it's honestly going to be a coin flip when they play next year. And that's South Carolina.
Yes!
Okay, really? All right.
I had USC at number 8. I mean, at number 8 now, or South Carolina. My only issue with South Carolina is I think Rocket Sanders' loss is going to be a little bit bigger than people make it out to be. I think he was a real spark plug for them.
Yeah.
And I need to see Lenore Sellers throw the ball a little better. I'm a little concerned about that. But if he can,
I don't really need to. I think he could run well enough. I don't really think it'd be great if he could throw the ball a little better. But I don't really need. I think he runs so well that if he just repeats that and they kind of scheme stuff for him, he'll be okay.
I think Sellers has got to improve a little bit, but I'm banking on that. But yeah, I had USC at number 8. Now, who did you have at 9 and 10?
All right, so at 9 and 10, 9's not going to be too surprising. Michigan, I got Michigan at 9. They're still a really good team. They're still really talented. Sharon Moore has recruited well. Michigan and one other team we'll get to later are kind of if the quarterback hits, they could win the national title. If he doesn't hit, they could go 8-4 or worse. Bryce Underwood, number 1 overall player, quarterback coming in. He'll be a true freshman. We assume that he'll start. If he doesn't start, it's probably not a good sign. If he does start, they are a dangerous team and look out because they have the talent to compete. And with a good quarterback, which is something they did not have last year, the defense will still be strong. They could definitely be a contender. And the number 10, Florida.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And let me give you my reasoning before you go crazy. Who's the best quarterback in the SEC next year?
DJ Lagway.
It's going to be DJ Lagway. They got brought in wide receivers in the portal. He has wide receiver. This is the do or die year for Billy Napier. They've got good dudes on defense. They finally got some defensive players. Like they got wide receivers now. DJ is incredible, like just unbelievable at quarterback. And I think Florida is more of they finished 10-2 ranked number 10 rather than like a huge upside number 10. But barring a DJ Lagway injury, like I just don't see how they don't pull several major upsets and kind of just run through a bunch of teams because they're going to have a crazy offense. So DJ's so good.
Well, I didn't quite have him that high. My 9 was Iowa State, your first Big 12 team. I think with Beck back, I think you got a lot of returning players on that team. I expect them to. They were 11-3 last year. One of those losses was the Big 12 championship. I expect that to be one of the contenders for the Big 12 next year. I had them coming in at 9. And number 10 was one of our big our Big Ten surprise teams this year that I think returns a lot of people. I think Illinois. I had them higher than Michigan in the Big Ten. I think with Altmaier coming back, I expect they were 10-3 last year. I expect Illinois to come in, and I think Illinois is going to be fighting. They're going to be this year's Indiana. They're going to be a playoff team next year.
I just don't see it for Indiana. I think they'll be kind of the same they've been the last couple of years, like good but not great. And I don't think they have the raw talent to elevate to that level.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to save this for next year and compare it. Now, you notice we didn't have either one of us in our top 10. What was the biggest glaring thing we did not have in our top
Alabama?
10? Yes. When is
that
happened?
I have them at 16.
Yeah, I've got them at 11, so that's okay.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
Who's the quarterback? Tell me who the quarterback is.
I'm not even sure.
Is it Ty Simpson? Is it the Austin Mack who played for Kalen? Is it the freshman Keelan Russell? Keelan Russell, I think that's how it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about Alabama. I have Arizona State at number 11.
Okay. Well, we'll get to so you give me your 11 through 15, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay, I got Arizona State number 11. I got Illinois at number 12. Okay. I got Tennessee at 13, and I got LSU at 14, and I got Auburn at 15.
Okay, so we're not that far off on most things. I've got, and we just a little bit. I have Bama at 11. And I just don't know. I think Bama's fully loaded with all kinds of 5-stars. I just don't know who the quarterback is, and I think that's going to cost them some games.
Yeah.
If they hit on the quarterback, they're going to jump up right into that top 10. At number 12.
Is it not good?
You sound like you're in a fish tank tonight, Jake.
Bro, why did you tell me that? I would fix it. Hold on.
That's okay. I mean, you.
Is this better?
It's a little better. At number 12, I've got Arizona State. I think losing Cam Scatterby is going to hurt them a little bit. 13, I have the Auburn Tigers. I think Jackson Arnold's going to be an upgrade. 14, I do have the Florida Gators. So I had Florida a little bit. I think Florida's more like a 9-3 team. And 15, I have LSU only because they did portal so well, even though I'm not so certain. I'm a big fan, but we'll put them there. You and I differ significantly on Tennessee. You had them in that top 15. I will get to Tennessee maybe when I get to the bottom here, but we'll see. So,
is this better? Is audio better?
It's better. Turn up your volume just a little bit.
Better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
All right. Who do you have 16 through 20?
I just want to talk real quick about. I have Arizona State at 11, partly because
I had them at 12.
Yeah, I have them there because of Sam Leavitt and Jordan Tyson are both returning, and Kenny Dillingham,
Agreed.
Great coach. Defense is my Tennessee pick. Tennessee has beaten Alabama last year, and I think I just trust Josh Heupel more than I do Kalen DeBoer right now. And
no Sampson, no Pierce, no White, no Brew McCoy. I mean,
Brew McCoy.
Well, okay, but I'm just telling you, I just don't. I mean, Nico really didn't carry that team this year. It was all those Sampson and Pierce. You know that. I don't believe in the team.
I don't believe in Alabama either, but I think Heupel's got better experience in the SEC and has proven to be more consistent. So,
okay.
LSU at 14. I think we're noticing a pattern here, and that Brian Kelly at Notre Dame underperformed with good talent, and Brian Kelly at LSU, or he maybe maxed out his good talent at Notre Dame, perhaps. Brian Kelly at LSU, he just beats the teams he's supposed to beat, and then doesn't beat the teams that he's like even with. And I'm just not – I think if he doesn't do it next year, that there will be – going into the next season, there will be rumblings about Brian Kelly's job at LSU because he's not lived up to their expectations of him, especially after that good first year. And lost a couple recruits in recruiting, judging by how good his players have been in the NFL versus how he got them to perform in college. Like, I'm starting to see a pattern here of that Brian Kelly may not be the best maximizer of his current resources.
Yeah, I'm going to argue on the Notre Dame thing. I think he did a pretty good job maximizing what Notre Dame had available to them, because I think what Marcus Freeman has available to him is completely different. Given the NIL
Maybe.
world, I think.
But I think Brian Kelly's ceiling might just be B+, like, or A. Brian Kelly. Like, I don't know if he can get to that top level.
Maybe so. And you're right. I don't disagree. I think right now we'll see. But I have LSU at 15, so I kind of have a similar range. My 16 through 20, I have Michigan at 16. I'm not quite as sold on Bryce Underwood being that consistent yet. I have Miami at 17, Louisville at 18, Texas A&M at 19, and Kansas State at 20.
Okay. I have Bama at 16. Don't shoot me. Baylor at 17.
I'm not going to shoot you.
Hey, they're going to be pretty good next year. They got a lot of people coming back. You have Kansas State in there. I have Baylor in there. I think Baylor's going to be better than Kansas State. A&M at 18, Miami at 19, and Oklahoma at 20.
Yeah, I don't have Oklahoma anywhere in my top 25, so that's interesting.
Okay.
So my 21 through 25, I have Baylor at 21.
Okay.
I have Nebraska at 22. This is the year Matt Rule starts to make the run, starts to make a move upward. I have Tennessee at 23 only because they will fall into an 8-4 schedule because they schedule so poorly and will beat a bunch of bad teams. Ole Miss at 24 because I just can't see Lane dropping off that bad. And it wouldn't be the top 25 if we didn't have Iowa in it. So Iowa at 25.
That's very true. Very true. My 21 is Georgia Tech at 21.
Thought about them.
I had them instead of Louisville. I just think I'm not sure who Louisville's going to have at quarterback, and I trust Brent Key. Well, it is Miller Moss. I don't know. I think Georgia Tech will be better. I like where Brent Key's going with the program. So, Ole Miss at 22. Again, Lane, they lose a lot of people, but
they'll figure out.
I trust him to scheme 8 games.
And I like Austin Sims at quarterback. I think he's got a lot of potential there. I'm excited to see him play.
Okay. Yeah. 23, I got BYU. I just said we kind of got a different projection of how the Big 12 is going to shake out, but it is kind of a random number generator. So you could just everywhere you see a Big 12 team, you can kind of just slot how you think the Big 12 is going to finish, because one will be in the high teens, one will be in the low teens, one will be in the 20s. One will be just outside. You just pick 4 Big 12 teams and slot them into those spots, because you kind of don't know how the league's going to go. The 4, I've got Indiana.
They lose a lot.
Kurt Cignetti is a really good coach. They're losing a lot of people. They're bringing in a lot of people. I just trust him as a coach. I think to probably win 8 games, I guess. I don't know. They'll definitely have some pull bonus from being as good as they were last year. So they'll get a little juice because of that. And then 25, I've got Iowa State.
Yeah.
Right at the edge there. And you could sub that out with your favorite G5 team or random SEC or Big Ten, Iowa. Put the winner of the Iowa State game there.
Indiana has road games next year at Iowa, at Oregon, and at Penn State. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And BYU, I struggle with that one a lot because I could put them a lot higher. I can make the argument with their quarterback coming back, and they don't play Arizona State or Kansas State. So their schedule is very favorable in the Big 12 next year. When we get to conference previews, I have a feeling when we actually do our predictions in the summer, I may bump BYU way up if time I actually look at the schedules. I did this without schedules. But
I didn't look at the schedules really either. It was just kind of too much to do right now.
But if they don't play Arizona State or Kansas State, that's going to give them a leg up in that conference.
Yeah. Yep. I think
Nuke's not in there. I think even though Kevin,
I know their schedule is going to be harder next year because they got basically the easiest one possible.
Yeah, and they lose a number. Colorado, no Shador, no Travis, no Luck,
no Dion.
No Dion. Who knows? We don't know yet. So so some of these teams that had success last year, I don't see them repeating themselves. But Penn State will defeat Texas in the national championship game next year. There's your national champion.
Yeah, honestly, next year seems to be the talent is the teams that make the blue chip ratio cut and have good coaches and quarterbacks, which is really what you need to win a national title. Blue chip ratio, good coach, good quarterback. And there are the amount of teams that meet those categories or could meet them is very high. And I'll give you an example here. I've got Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Bama at 13, 14, or Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, Bama, 13, 14, 15, 16. If one of those four connects all the dots, they could win the title. Like if their quarterback hits with the coach is good, and they meet the talent for the blue chip ratio, there's a non-zero chance that one of those four could connect it all and win the title. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think so. But it's not within the realm of it's not outside the realm of possibility that DeBoer just gets in his bag with Ryan Williams or that who was the guy Auburn brought in? He hits. Jackson Arnold hits and they go off or Nussmeier. I know your opinions on Nussmeier. I still think he's a pretty good quarterback. If LSU's always talented, they could have some guy that you 4-star that you didn't hear of that turns out to be really good. I don't know exactly, but that could happen. I could also see probably not Tennessee unless Nico makes a huge jump. Again, I could see Michigan making that jump. I could see Clemson, South Carolina, really anybody else making that jump. I think Florida is not talented enough to do that, but they will definitely beat some good SEC teams and maybe make the SEC title game if they get lucky. They have a chance to do that.
I don't believe Billy Napier is the coach that's going to get them over the hump.
No, I don't. But you could have that break if you get just great performance out of DJ. I don't see it happens. The SEC is kind of going to be a random number generator like the Big 12, just with higher talent. So I think it'll just be interesting to see kind of how that goes because there's a lot of teams in the teens and 6, 7, 8 that could win the national title if they put it all together.
Yeah, next year to me it feels like there's 3 teams in my mind that feel like they're right on the edge, and it really could be.
Oh, there's a clear top 3.
Well, to me it feels like Penn State, Oregon, or Texas are all right there ready to break through.
I don't see it with Penn State. I've been a Drew Aller hater for 2 years now. He's slightly better Christian Hackenberg. He looks like every other slow, big-armed Penn State quarterback that they've had the last 20 years, okay? I don't see it. I don't understand where the Drew Aller hype is coming from.
They have Oregon in Happy Valley. They play at Ohio State. You're going to get them in a playoff, and I'm telling you.
Happy Valley looks cool, but they don't beat teams that are better than them.
We're going to see next year. I'm telling you. You're going to bookmark this puppy right now. January.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And
okay.
Texas is going to be completely dependent on Arch Manning. Does he live up to the hype? If he does.
If he is good as everybody seems to think he is, I think it's Texas may storm this thing.
They may be the one cutting down the confetti. I was going to say cutting down the nets.
Cutting down the confetti.
So, I'm already excited about next season, but we got a lot of time between now and then, so we're going to have to break down all kinds of things.
Yeah, and next week, I think we will be, or next week or 2 weeks, we'll be doing a breakdown of the transfer portal and everything that's happened. A transfer portal recap. We'll go over some coaching carousel things and kind of begin the sort of off-season stuff.
Yeah. So our schedule may get a little irregular, but we'll try to keep you all up to date. We're not going away. We're going to talk college football year-round. We're here to fill your college football needs. So
absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and help us grow the channel and grow the pod. Thank y'all for watching, and good night.
Good night.